Hey guys, it's Maymay and welcome to another video. And today I'm going to talk to you about two things you've asked me about. One is mirror stamping, and two is how to make a tree out of this. Now, I saw a piece of home decor on Pinterest that is going to inspire this card we're going to make today. So let's get started. So this is my waffle flower media mat. Love this guy. It's like a silicone mat, and it does not like take ink in. The ink kind of resists on it. I have not tried this. I thought we would try it together and see what we get. So this particular stamp I'm picking up right now is the one that I used in a recent Dashing Through the Stamps video to make a Christmas tree. And I want to show you what I have done to get us started. So we're going to mirror stamp this. This opening inside of here is 5 by 7. So I cut a piece that is 5, and I want to say it's about 6.5. Yeah, it's about 6.5, because I want to do some separating of this. You'll see, that'll make sense as we go. But see how it's going to fit in here just perfectly? That's what I wanted. Now the other thing, and the reason I wanted that, it's sticking a little bit. The reason I wanted that is because I'm going to build my tree on half the page here and stamp it, and then do the other half the normal stampy way. This will make sense as we get going. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is open up this Rainforest ink from Versaclair. And I am using pigment because I think pigment transfers better. I think pigment works really well for this kind of reverse stamp image thing. All right, so I'm going to start my tree kind of down here at the bottom. Now what you have to do, what you want to be careful of is not wiggle. It's not going to be that big of a deal because it's a Christmas tree, but we don't want to wiggle if we can keep from it. That's a nice image. All right, and we're going to keep going and build half of our tree here at the bottom. There we go. And I'm going to keep going all the way up doing the same thing. This is just how we're going to do the other side too on the paper, just by stamping it just like this. See how I just kind of sink in a little bit as I go? That's what's going to make the tree, the shape of the tree, just sinking in. And the less you sink in, the bigger your tree. The more you sink in, the narrower your tree. I don't like my sink in, so I'm going to do that again. That's the beauty of this too. We can kind of just play and see what we get, but I don't think I synced in enough. So let me get some squeaky clean here. I'm going to spray this and I'm going to start over. And this is cool too because you can see how this works on this mat. So just using this little cloth, just going to clean this guy up. You do want to clean it up because if you don't, it's going to be on your project, because this, you know, it resists. So anything on here will pick up. All right, so we are fresh to start over. Let's let that dry for a second. Oh, it's still a little wet. Let's let that dry. All right, let's try it again. I got a little ahead of myself on that last one. So I'm going to start out here. This is my first one right here. Very good. Now I'm going to sink in a little further than I did. Something like this. And I need to keep sinking in. And honestly, where my tree ends doesn't matter as long as it's a tree, if that makes sense. Because the way I'm going to use this project, it doesn't have to be a big tree. You'll see. That looks pretty good to me. I think that's where I'm going to stop it. Now I want to pick this up with my other piece. So let me close this before I put my arm in it. And now this is that piece that I did to fit inside of here. So I'm going to sit it in the bottom and kind of center it. I kind of like that I cut it almost exactly 5 inches. And then because of that lip, I can kind of give it a little pressure here and lay this down, and now pick this half of the tree up. Take your time. You might even, I love this tool so much, you might even take this little guy and just kind of rub it. See how good it kind of sinks in here? And now I know I'm picking up every bit of that ink I can possibly pick up. Then I'm going to get under here and look. So there's half of our tree done there. Let's do the other side. So if I were to ink and stamp directly, the right-hand side of my tree is going to be darker than my left-hand side, or at least I think that's what's going to happen. So we're going to take a piece of scrap paper. I'm going to dig into being here. Here's a piece of scrap out of there. And we're going to second generation this. So here's what that means. I'm going to ink like we normally do. I'm going to ink off one time here, not a huge amount. And then I'm going to come here and see if I cannot basically mimic what we did on the other side. We're just going to see what happens. See that? That's not bad. So I don't need to take quite as much off. So I'm just going to tap, lift, and go to the next one. Yep. See, it's not bad. Not bad at all. Might not have to take as much ink off as I thought I would anyway. Let's see how this one goes. Looking pretty good. Oh, I didn't ink off. I didn't stamp off. We're going to let it go. We're going to let it ride. We're going to let it ride. I'm going to go to the top like so. And then don't worry about that. I got plans for that up there. We'll see how that goes when we get to it. All right. I'm going to take this again, ink it off, you know, do the second generation thing. And I'm going to come down here and kind of finish our tree out here. Like so. That didn't do great, but that's okay. We don't need great, because this is going to get easy. Now we're going to go into our stamp, and I'm going to pick one of these out. I'm going to take this smaller one and see if I can kind of fill in this tree. Now, I feel as though you were able to watch that process in fast motion. I'm sure Timothy kind of did that in fast motion, but I only used this little stamp, the small version of the large one. So this is 2 stamps to do this. I think this looks pretty cool. I know that some of you guys may not be loving it, but I think it looks pretty neat. I'm not too worried about the top because I want to do some kind of decoration at the top. Now what I want to do is do that cutty thing I was telling you about. Let me show you. Let me get my trimmer. Now, I want to put this on a 5x7 card, okay? I'm 6.5 tall, which means I'm going to have 1/4 of an inch at the top and at the bottom, but I'm 5 inches wide. So I need to take 1/4 of an inch off here and 1/4 of an inch off here to make that happen. If you want to measure that way when you get started, you can. I'm doing it from here. So because I was trying to fill up my little waffle flower media mat, so I had plenty of room. That is perfectly fine. This will now nestle and give me 1/4 of an inch all the way around on a 5x7. Okay, this is where it's going to maybe mess up. I want to cut this guy in half every inch. You got to trust me. Or cut him apart in inches. So I'm going to basically make kind of like a little puzzle piece. Imagine these as pieces of wood. Okay, that's what we're going to imagine that they are. So we're going to lay this out and we're going to put it back together. I think this will be cool. I actually think you could do this project on chipboard and make a home decor piece out of it, like a little framed piece for the coffee table or what have you. I think it'd be pretty. So every inch, and my bottom is going to be a little bit different. Not sure why. Oh, because it was 6.5 inches. That's okay. It'll still look cool. And I may not use the bottom piece. We'll see. So here's where I may be working backwards, okay? I'm going to ink drag on here to look like wood. That's kind of my plan. You know how you can take ink and make it look like wood? I'm going to, this is my top piece, okay? I'm just going to take this ink and drag it across. And this is where I mean that I could be working backwards. This might be best if I had done this before I cut it apart, but I hadn't done it before, so we're going to just try this together. I know I could get a hold of it better if I had. And I am lightly dragging, very lightly, okay? Just, I mean, not even trying. And what we'll see, I'll do it over here so you can see it kind of come together. What you'll see is kind of planks of wood with a Christmas tree on it. I don't know if this is gonna work, y'all. Let's keep going. So you see what's happening? It's kind of making sense now as I keep going a little bit. All right, I think I'm gonna go through and ink the edges just for definition. I want these to kind of separate from each other. So you can see how this would make a cool home decor piece, right? This is something you could do in frame because, you know, it'll look like a piece of art. But imagine this for a card for someone that you just really want to make a fuss for. You just really want to do a card that they won't even know how you did it. You know what I'm saying? One of those like, wow, how did they make this happen? And I think this will be a cool way to do it. I'm going to ink all these up, and you see how it's creating that separation? That's what I'm wanting. So let's keep going. Okay, so let me tell you what I'm thinking about here. So this piece is 5x7, okay, because I wanted a border around this black. This piece is 4 7/8 by 6 7/8 because I wanted the tiniest little trim of red, okay? We're going to build our tree on this. Now, let me show you how this is kind of working out. I've got everything out of order now. Let's try to fix it up. What we're going to do is we're going to start with our top piece and we're going to place it. I want the tiniest sliver of black showing at the top, okay? And then what I'm going to do is with my other pieces in order they are gonna go just like this, almost touching, but not touching. Almost touching, okay? And the black underneath is pretty. I tried it with gold, but I think the black is prettier. So see how I'm doing this? And I want them to just almost touch. I'm gonna have to center this up a little bit. What I wanna see real quick, I'm gonna lay them all down and see just how much space I actually have. I just wanna kind of double check. I've gotten out of line here somewhere. Something is in the wrong spot. This one goes here. You can number these if you want, but I think you can pretty much tell when you get off a little bit. All right, so I'm just gonna place them and see what kind of space we've got. That's really good spacing. I even can come down a little from the top because I've got a little room. I pretty much can get this all the way around because even if these guys touch, they're still gonna look great. All right, I think I wanna pop them all up, so let me get some foam. All right, so leaving my red piece over here, don't need it right now. These pieces are in order. I laid them in order like so. And then here's this piece. So let's start with the first one. It's probably best to keep them in order since we're gonna have them upside down like this. And then again, we're going to go to the very top. I'm gonna bring this kind of close to me. We're gonna go to the very top, like so. Try to leave the same amount on either side. I'm a little too far over. I tell you what, why'd I turn around? It's black. We're gonna go this way so I can see what I'm doing. I know you guys will understand. All right, there's number one. We've placed number one. The rest should be easy from here. Now I got a little off. I got a little close down here, so you know what I'm gonna do? I'm just gonna trim the top to match it. So I'm just gonna take my scissors. I would use my Tim Holtz for this, but they're not laying over here. I think they're over at my other filming station. And I'm just gonna trim this to match. And I'm not being too perfect about this, guys, because this is kind of a rugged looking card, kind of a rustic card. The thing where I'm gonna have to really think is how I wanna decorate it, because I love how the tree is looking, but now we need to decorate it. So another thing I'm not loving is how much is hanging off the edge here. So I'm gonna trim that off. That's not a big deal. Like, it may not bother everybody, but I kind of want that to match all the way around and to keep me from having to measure in the beginning. This keeps me from having to do that. This way I can just cut. Let me see if I can get to it. Oh, I can, cool. I didn't know if the dimension would keep me from it. I really like that being really, really super close. So I'm gonna trim that off. And now it's pretty much even all the way around. Yeah, now it's just the tree. I think that looks better than having that hanging off the edge. Oh, this is so cool. All right, let's glue this down to our red piece, which should give us a lot hanging on the edge. Look how good, love that. So I have this idea in mind, and I cut my 5x7 card base, and it left me this little piece here. So I'm gonna see if I can use it to make this happen. So this stamp set is called Jolly Old Elf, and I love that Merry Christmas right there. I think that looks really vintage, kind of like this tree is starting to look. So I'm gonna take some Onyx Black, and I'm going to stamp this. Maybe I should do it in red. I'm not, I'm gonna do it in black. I'm gonna go with my original thought, and I'm gonna come right over here, and I'm gonna stamp this down. This is just a scrap piece from when I cut my card base to make a 5x7. This was left over. I'll stamp this like this. That looks good. And I'm not sure about this part, y'all. I'm just gonna play for a second and see what happens. I kind of want to cut like a wavy banner with this. So let's just see, let's just see. So I'm gonna start from this side. And what I kind of want to do is following the shape of the words, I want to make my banner kind of wave like it. And I'm just going to cut straight off because I want to leave myself some room down there to do the end. Now I'm going to do the same thing here. I think I'll cut straight up about right here. And I want to kind of mimic this bottom curve up here, like so. That's kind of what I wanted. Now down here, I think I want to do maybe a fishtail. Let's try it. So I'm just gonna go like this, then come in like this, and then come in like this. It won't be quite as sharp as some, just something like that. Maybe a little sharper. Let's see if I can fix it. Let's go a little sharper. Let's go a little snip in, a little sharper there, a little sharper there. Yeah, that's good. So y'all just getting to see me play. I don't know how this is going to turn out. We're just going to try it. I just feel like that shape is very vintage. So we're going to try to use that. And obviously I need to ink it. So do I want to ink it like wood and then ink it? Let's try that. So let's bring our little ink catcher back over here and let's get our ink. Now I'm going to do what I did on the craft paper on the little planks, and I'm just going to lightly run across. Might have been too much, might have been too much, might have been too dark of a color. We'll see, we'll see. If it is, I'll change it. Then let's pick it up and let's go around the edges a bit. Perfect. Now let's see how this looks on our little tree. It might not be too dark, it might be too dark. I'm kind of thinking I want this up in this area, like so. I actually don't think that is too dark at all. I think that looks pretty good. I want to put a star and some decorations on the tree and kind of have this rustic look. So let's do it. The next question is, do I want to put like some ribbon down here at the bottom, like maybe a bow, like it's kind of tied on? I might like that idea too. Let's try it. Yep, I like that. Okay, so let's glue this guy on. I'm starting to make some commitments here. It's you know, when you step outside your box, when you try something different, you're not really sure how it's going to turn out, but it sure is fun to try stuff, right? It sure is fun. Let's go about here. So we're splitting a plank, and you could pop that up if you wanted to. I'm not going to because I don't want to build too much dimension, right? So we've got our little Merry Christmas sign. Let's put our little bow right to the very edge here. I think that'll be cute on there. And it's okay if your little bow tails overlap the wording. People know that says Merry Christmas. Like they just kind of can know if it's overlapping. Just a little bow like it's tied on. And now what I think is going to be real pretty. Let's first put this onto our card base. So this is the card base I'm going to use because I want it to be white on the inside. But see how my red is going to cover that? That's what I'm going to do. I don't know though. When I did that, I kind of liked that white showing. Oh, it really pops. All right, I'm going to trim this down. Oh, here's where we could mess up. This is what I get for building backwards. Let's just try it. What can it hurt? It's just paper. So you guys tell me you like to see when I make a mistake and how I fix it. So look, I tried to remove the red and it didn't work. I cut too deep on one side and messed myself up. So we're going to fix it, and you're not going to know that I fixed it. Well, you guys will. All of YouTube will, but the recipient won't know. So look, I've cut myself another piece of red, the size that I wanted it to be. And now I'm just going to glue this down and we'll pretend like it never happened. I was just going to trim the red down a little smaller and I just got too close and I just kind of messed myself up. So this piece, I just want the tiniest little bit of red to show all the way around. The tiniest little sliver, which is what I was trying to do before I messed up so badly. So, see, look, all fixed. No one knows. No one's going to know, y'all. No one's going to know. Okay, now we can glue it down to our card. So, there's always a fix. There's always a workaround. I was saying that recently. I was teaching a group of teenagers at one of our local schools, and we were doing painting, and I was like, guys, you can't mess this up. There is always a way to cover up what you feel like is a mistake. You can't mess it up. Just keep going. Look how cute. I think it really did need that pop of white because it really makes our little sign right here pop. Now we're not done. Couple more things. So for the top of our tree, I took this little star punch and I just punched out a little gold star out of some gold shimmer paper. It's that Sizzix shimmer paper. And I'm just going to nestle our star right here at the top. I just think that's so cute. And it's just shiny enough to add a little something. Now I'm going to do something I haven't played with. We got these last year and I love them. We might even had them for a couple years now. But these are the vintage drops from Nuvo, and these are the colors Postbox Red and Pioneer Green. And these guys come in a set of 2, and I think these are so pretty, and we're going to decorate our tree with them. And glitter would be cute, but I think for this vintage looking tree, this kind of matte finish will be pretty on here. I hope. We'll see. I can always go back and add some sparkle, and I might. And I'm kind of making my little ornaments a little chubby because I want them to show really well, and I'm not exactly sure how dimensional this will dry. I know it does dry dimensional. I just can't remember exactly how dimensional. So look how cute this is. I love this tree. I love this idea of making this tree and then cutting it apart like that. I think that looks really cool. Now I've got some in the middle, but I don't want to stay in the middle. I want to come out here to the edges as well, because like where the branches are, we want to have some around the branches. Let's see, maybe right here. And let's go inside too. Now let's do the green. I love how this is turning out, y'all. Love it. Do those remind you of those old ball ornaments? They kind of do me. Now then, let's do some glitter spray. Now, I really should be doing this in a box because this spray kind of goes everywhere, but I think this will be so pretty on here. This is the gold, and you shake it up and you get all that gold mixed in. I don't think it all completely mixes in from the bottom, but you shake it up, and then you hold it up kind of high and mist. And I'm making a huge mess on my desk, but it'll clean. So let's pick this up and move it off to the side. And I liked the idea of spraying that gold mist on the wet beads there, because they've got a little bit of shimmer on them. Can you see that? It's got to dry. You can see it's kind of wet on the side, but I'm going to sit it down and let it dry. Now, I don't know what I'm putting on the inside. A lot of times, and you guys know this about me, I will make a card and not do the inside because I don't know what I want in there just yet or who this card is going to. So this card's kind of specific, so I'm not going to do the inside until I know who it is going to, because I don't know what I'm going to want to write on it. So I love this. I'm going to fluff my bow a little bit so it doesn't dry like that. Love it. I think it turned out so cute. So that's just an idea. Mirror stamping. By the way, it looks like my tree went away. It didn't. It's just because it's wet. When it dries, you'll see it again. But mirror stamping, creating a tree with a stamp that's not a tree, making boards. Like, I just think this is a really cool card. I think it'd be cool as an easel card, or even to put like an easel stand on it. Wouldn't that be neat for whoever gets it to be able to stand it up? Because it does kind of look like something really cute for the mantle. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope you learned some technique from that you can take and use. Tell me what you would do with the wood plank look. What are you thinking about doing? And better than telling me, show me. Head to our customer gallery and share with me pictures of you making a wood plank card. I think it looks really cool. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks so much for being here today. Please don't forget to subscribe. We are so close to 300,000. Let's get there, get to that number, and give this video a big thumbs up. They really do help my channel when you do that, and I appreciate it so much. Thanks so much, guys. Till next time. Bye now.